President Biden approved a disaster declaration for Louisiana following the aftermath of Hurricane Francine, which unleashed flooding across the Deep South, hitting many areas already affected by 2021 by Hurricane Ida. Now, following this devastation, our friends at Samaritans Purse launched a response on multiple fronts, but that's just one of the many sites where Samaritans Purse is on the ground and working, and frankly, they need our prayers and our support. Joining me now to discuss this effort is Edward Graham, Chief Operating Officer of Samaritans Purse. Edward, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Hey, Tony, thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
Well, it's a busy time. Let's start with Louisiana and the situation there.
Yeah, well, as you know, and that's your home state, we're there responding to a recent Category 2 hurricane, but we're still seeing effects from your previous hurricane that hit there just about 2 years ago. So we saw this Category 2 storm come in. It's created a lot of wind damage on roofs, flooding. There was a strong storm surge, but between that and the wind, as you can know, these roofs received a lot of damage. So we've got volunteers in there right now tarping roofs. They're mudding out homes, drying them in, cutting back the drywall, cleaning up the yards and the debris. It's busy work. It's hard work. It's still hot down in Louisiana, and there's a lot of work to do. So pray for our volunteers that are down there. We need more of them to show up.
Yeah, Homa, one of the areas that were hit again hard. Not as bad as it could have been. The storm moved fairly quickly, so we didn't have as much flooding as we've had in the past. But this is just one of the many places that Samaritan's Purse is operating right now. Talk about some of the other locations and the work that you're doing.
Yeah, we're also in Texas. I appreciate Brazoria County, Texas, there with the recent hurricane that hit there as well. We're out in California. We just had a fire there in California. We're responding there in Chico, which is called the Park Fire, is what they gave the name to that one. So there we're doing a lot of sifting. Theirs is where after these homes have been destroyed and property has been destroyed, we'll go and help the homeowner find just memorabilia, lost items, heirlooms. Most of the time, this helps create closure. After a storm, when there's complete destruction, there's nothing. And it's hard to have a conversation with a homeowner about hope when they've lost everything they believe. But just finding a ring or a wedding ring, engagement ring, will create a story and a conversation. And this allows people like our chaplains from the Billy Graham Rapid Response team, they're able to go in there and just have that one little sliver of conversation about hope. But we got teams up in Alaska still working up on a church there. We just sent our 757, our DC-8 cargo planes to Vietnam. We're responding to flooding there. And so we got some of our international teams out serving right now in Vietnam, which is, for me, that grew up in the shadow of the Vietnam War and the aftermath. I was born after it, but I loved history. And part of the reason why I went into the military is watching what our veterans did in the Vietnam War. It's not lost on me what a neat opportunity God has given us to share the gospel and to meet those that are suffering, meet their first needs there in Vietnam.
Edward, I want to ask you just a little bit about, some people say, well, we've got the president just declared disaster. They're spending federal money. We've got Homeland Security. We've got FEMA. So why do we need Samaritan's Purse?
You show me the federal government, I'll show you inefficiency. I was in the federal government. I was in the military, so I guess I'm bad-mouthing myself there for a while. But nothing responds like the church, especially the local church. And Samaritan's Purse, when we come in, we live and we work just like we did with your church many times, but we'll live and work to the local church because after we leave, these new believers, these people that made decisions for Christ, we want that church discipling them, following up with them. They get their credit. God gets all the glory. And so for us, our volunteers can come and meet the immediate needs of those that are suffering, but they're going to ask you, why are you here? And we get to respond, well, we love you, but more importantly, Jesus Christ loves you. And it's just a neat way to bless those that are hurting and think they've lost everything. They've lost all hope. But when they see these orange shirts show up, they realize they're not alone.
Absolutely. And you're right. I that was a softball question that I set up because I've seen it firsthand myself. And I will say that I have, even though I was in the Marine Corps, more efficient maybe than the Army, but not as sufficient, not as efficient as Samaritan's Purse. You guys do a great job. But here's something else, Edward, I think people need to realize. The church grows stronger as a result of helping those in need. There is nothing that will strengthen a local body than ministering to the needs of those in their community, going hand in hand with Samaritan's Purse.
Amen. And this is too easy. We have the equipment, we have the tools and the resources. We just need able-bodied people. And you may think, well, I can't run a chainsaw. Yes, you can. We can train you. We have all-lady chainsaw teams, retirees that come out, they'll do it. We have wounded veterans that are going missing legs and limbs out working and serving. Anybody can do this. We just need people willing to come up and love a complete stranger, their next door neighbor, and let them know that they're loved. And this is something for youth groups to do of age people 14 years of older, prayer groups, Bible studies, your church, your office, it doesn't matter. We've got the equipment. We just need people willing to nail some hammers.
Very quickly, how can people find out how they can be a part of it?
You can go to SamaritansPurse.org. You can find places where the volunteer says how to get involved, but more importantly, pray. I want your prayers.
All right. Edward Graham, always great to see you. Thank you so much for what Samaritan's Purse does. You're a blessing.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.